Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. Today we are exploring nature. It's actually beautiful outside. It's feels like 60 or 70. It's not too hot. It's quite windy, as opposed to yesterday, it being, I don't even know, it felt like 100. I'm trying something new, a bit of a podcast type video, but while I'm walking, you know, might as well get my steps in and also get some content done. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a story time about when I first started playing D&D. Then I might do a little D&D horror story as well. But when I first started, I was probably I was a sophomore in high school. I remember playing. It was me, and then I had a friend that was had played the game before, and he was like, "Hey, we're just gonna come over to this dude's house." I mean, I also knew of him, he was at the school, and he's gonna run us a game, and we're gonna play D&D. I was like, all right, that sounds sick. Yeah, I'm down. So we started doing that, and then for my first character, I made a half-orc barbarian, which is probably the most basic of all characters, especially if you're a gym bro or whatever. I was playing sports. I was like, I want to make a cool character that's really strong and can pick up a lot of stuff and do a lot of damage, that kind of thing. It was actually really sick. I've never played anything like that before. I had never really tried to get into a character or try to voice act and whatnot. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. And I remember the first session, it was actually really well done and written looking back at it. Our dungeon master, I don't know how much experience he had, but there was 10 people. There was a lot of people playing this game, and he broke everybody up into partners and gave everybody a different scenario, and it was really fun. I remember it was me and my friend who was playing a sorcerer, and my friend was very sick, he was bedridden, and I had to go out and find a cure. And we were in this town that was a snowy abandoned town next to a coast or something. It was really fun the way he described things. It was actually really awesome. I was like, yo, I absolutely love this game. And then after exploring for a little while, he gave us a few sketch or not sketch decisions. I don't know if you ever read the book. There's a specific book where you read it and it lets you make decisions, and based on your decisions, you either you could die, or you could, something bad could happen or something good could happen, something like that. And he always set it up that way, which was pretty cool. And in this campaign, I would always make the wrong decisions. That was kind of a funny thing. At first I didn't even mean to do it, but then I just made it a part of the character, and I was just this dude is gonna be very reckless and just basically do whatever. And I had a lot of fun doing that. That was the most fun I've had at playing as a character. But irregardless, basically the enemies we were fighting the whole entire game, it was the Koatoa, the fish people or whatever. Which that was pretty cool, to be honest. Yeah, because I didn't know that was a specific D&D enemy only. But yeah, that was fun. And throughout the whole campaign, he had moments where like he called them like dream sequences where you could like do whatever you wanted, and it was cool because they had like an effect on the game. And I remember I accidentally like summoned the boss for like the first part of the campaign, and this is while we were like level 4 or 5 or something, and it was meant to be like a level 10 boss, but I was playing a barbarian, so I was like raging and whatnot. And I remember I just kept getting really lucky, like while rolling the dice and whatnot. So like I would roll like a 20 a few times, and then I did like, you know, like the brutal critical with the barbarian class. Like I just kept rolling 20s, and somehow I was on 1 HP, and I defeated this boss that he had planned to use on like the entire party and whatnot. And that like derailed this whole campaign in like a good way. And then he made one of our friends became like the boss. Like he became the villain and whatnot. It was actually pretty sick. I'm about to be attacked by an eagle. But yeah, I thought that was like a cool twist because it wasn't really planned, so. But yeah, besides that, it was a very, there was a few other like fun moments in the game. I remember one of the coolest sessions we had. It was a prison session. Like all of our characters somehow were locked up. I forgot exactly what happened. We all might have been knocked out or something like that. And he had us fight the other half of the party. So it was like me and half of the D&D party versus the other half. And our side was like not super strong. Like we mostly had spellcasters and me who was playing a barbarian. And then their side was like overpowered as shit. Like they had like our one friend who played D&D many times and had like the most powerful multi-class druid barbarian build. And so we basically devised a plan to get around the fact that we were fighting him, and it went really well. Like it was hilarious. We had a guy on our side who's playing a bard, and he casted a Crown of Madness on him and just took control of him. And then basically it was over as soon as that happened. Like he was that strong. So that was a lot of fun. And then like I guess the saddest moment in the campaign was that same player. I had like a pet throughout the campaign that was like a I forgot what it was. I think it was like a massive gorilla named Bolo or whatever. I don't know if it was a gorilla or if it was like some other type of creature similar to that. But basically, one session we were like trying to pass a bridge or like a chasm, and the like super big bad spider demon like creatures. I think it was like both the Queen of the Drow and then like 2 of her people or whatever were like blocking our way, and they needed like a sacrifice so we could get by. And then that player like volunteered my pet, and I was like, I couldn't even react because we would have all gotten killed or whatever. But yeah, a very sad moment. I still remember Bolo. You know who you are. But yeah, Bolo, he was epic. One of the best pets a man could ever have in a D&D game. But yeah, anyway, that campaign in particular, like, really got me into D&D, just because I didn't think it would be possible to like play a game with your friends and have like that wasn't like a video game, or a lot of the board games I've played in the past have been like very boring. Like we just play Monopoly or Jackbox a ton of times. Yeah, I just like the creative imagination side of it, and like everybody fucking around and having fun. You know what I mean? Like that's the cool part of it for me. Like it doesn't have to be like super nerdy or in depth. Like you don't have to be like a great actor or a great whatever. Just having fun being in scenarios with like fun characters is awesome. And it's kind of hard to replicate that as you get older. Everybody is very busy, and it's definitely possible. And to be honest, our group hasn't really had a campaign like that since that one. There was one campaign that I ran. It was like me and then two of my friends, and we did like a 3-player in total campaign, which was quite fun. The 2 players that participated were both very into D&D and into metagaming, and not into metagaming, into making their characters super strong, like min-maxing. So it was easy to do that with 2 players because they were very strong. But besides that, we haven't had a campaign last more than like 2 or 3 sessions. It just pretty much dies immediately. I think part of the reason for that is like we put so much time into preparing for the actual game itself that, like, you know, when we start playing it is not as much fun as like when we're improvising and just like fucking around. So I'm actually gonna start one soon that I'll probably post content about on here. And it'll just be like completely improvised for the most part. I was gonna create like a sort of system where we just like create the entire like kind of like Mad Libs, where it's environment, action, who are we, where are we, what's going on type thing, and then we just collectively do that. I like checking my back with the camera. This is actually quite nice. Every time I'm walking with these big ass headphones, I just get snuck up on. But yeah, so I'll do that, guys, and then I'll post some of that content online, and we'll see how that goes. Now time for some D&D horror stories, and God knows I have a few. I'll start with probably the least concerning of the 2. So one of my friends, who was the player from that 2-player campaign I was talking about, him and I, we were like, okay, let's just play online. Like, let's give it a try. And we've never done it before, so the first campaign we could get in, we joined. And I don't know if any of you guys have played D&D online, but like, dude, finding a game and being able to join it is so hard. Like on Roll20, it was like getting an interview for a job type thing. Like you had to post a paragraph about like why you wanted to join the campaign and like your character concept, all that kind of thing. So we finally found one, and we all got set up, and the Discord call, you know, whatever, it seemed fine. We were probably 18, 19, 20, like around that age range. Probably closer to 19 and 20. This was after high school. So my friend and I were 19 and 20, and everybody else in the campaign was a bit older. Like, I think the DM was like in his late 20s, and the other 2 guys were like 30 to like 40, in that age range, which I'm fine with. You know what I mean? I don't mind. At the time, of course. And we start playing. We create our characters. We spend like a lot of time in our backstory, and we get it all set up. We spend like a ton of time getting everything set up. And basically, on session 1, the DM's like, oh yeah, everybody has amnesia, pretty much. So it was like, all your characters don't remember who they are. Like, you forget your entire backstory, who you are, everything. And we're like on this battlefield, and like whatever, like a great war happened, some like, you know, basic shit. And we try to like look around for like context clues and like figure out what's actually happening and whatnot. And he was just very much like, you don't find anything, you don't know what's happening. Big battle. There was a big battle. Like, obviously, you know, he had like a specific story in mind and he didn't want us to figure it out too soon. And that was like a theme throughout the campaign. Like, pretty much like our characters, we might as well have not have like made these characters at all. We didn't use anything from the backstory, nothing at all. And then, like, okay, the reason I mentioned the players being older earlier, one of them was super cool. Like, one of them was like an awesome guy. I played a separate campaign with him and his like group, like youth group or whatever later on. He was a really cool guy. Love that guy. Very nice, very friendly. Awesome. And then the other dude, like, he would just basically get hammered like every single session, like absolutely fucking wasted. And then he would like just I remember our DM gave him like the deck of many things. Literally every single session, like, and almost every scene, he would just draw cards. He'd be like, this is kind of boring, let me just draw a card. And like the entire session would then just be like, okay, we're doing this again, type shit. But like, he was just very like, I don't know if you ever played D&D with like a drunk person that's like absolutely hammered. It's only fun if everybody's drunk. If one person is drunk and then just like talking and slurring their words the whole time, not as much fun. So like, we just kept doing that for like a couple of months. Like, honestly, my friend and I were like, I don't give a fuck, at least this DM is consistent. Like, that's how long we were in like a D&D dry sprout. And we stuck with it for like a while. And then eventually it was just getting to the point, like, we would like show up to the sessions and we were like, okay, this is not fun. Like, we would be like whispering each other on Roll20. And then the last session, I remember like him and I just didn't show up. And then when we didn't show up, it was just like the drunk dude. And then that's like when the campaign ended, like everybody just kind of separated. Overall, it was still like a pretty fun experience, but like it was bad D&D. Like, it wasn't good D&D. It was, you know, it was one of the D&D games that have ever been played. But anyway, the other story is like a lot, you know, worse. But yeah, so like, him and I also tried to play D&D at a comic store, and him and I are both like relatively normal. Like, we you know, we were on like multiple sports teams, that kind of thing. Like, we're like normal people. Not that people that go to comic stores aren't normal, but some of them who play D&D definitely are not. But yeah, so we went to play, and we don't have like any experience doing this kind of thing and whatnot. And I remember like the first session, same thing, was not like too bad. Pretty much we show up, we make characters, we get like, we walk in, we see this table that's like has a really cool battle map. Like, everybody's having fun. A few players like are super into it. Like, that table looks really fun, and we're looking at the table, we're like, please seat us there. We don't get seated there. We get seated at like a table in the back in the shadows. some would say. And like there was like a couple of people, and you could really tell these, you know, like some of them would be wearing like the shirt like "Don't interrupt me, I'm gaming," you know what I mean? And so I was like, oh, okay, well, let's see how this goes. So we did it, and we set up our characters and whatnot, and we remember like one of the dudes was playing with his mom, which is like whatever, but like the dude's like I don't even know, he's like between 30 to 40, and his mom was like 60. His mom was like a sweet lady. His mom was nice, you know. I would love to play D&D with just his mom. Like, she was normal, she was sweet, whatever. She had like a normal like fighter character. I think she was just trying to like support her like man, child, son. And yeah, so mom was super cool. But this guy, he created a character that was like super sus. Like he basically wanted to play Tinkerbell, and like he just kept on insisting that she was like super young, which was like a definite red flag. We thought it was really weird, and like nobody was having fun with this guy's character. And he would constantly do weird things, like try to like sexualize the game and whatnot with like that character. And we were like, okay, bro, like this is weird. Like it just gave everybody the ick pretty much. And that was like a major big like red flag. And then the DM also, like, it was the same thing as the other campaign, where like the DM like didn't really care at all. Like he seemed like he wanted to play another game, and he was just like, I remember we spent like 2 or 3 sessions in a like shop, just shopping. You know what I mean? Like nothing happened. We were just like buying and like trying to get stuff. So that was kind of, yeah, that was that. But yeah, obviously the weirder part was the other thing. And yeah, we showed up to a couple of sessions, and then my friend and I, we just called it quits. We were like, this is just not fun. Do we really want to do this just to play D&D? Like, do we want to get, yeah, we were like, I'd rather just not play D&D anymore. And that was our last time trying D&D at a comic store. Honestly, I'm sure it would be fine if you found like normal people, you know, around your age to play with, or just normal people in general. It doesn't matter what age they are. Finding normal people is a rarity in the D&D community, I'll say that much. Anyway, guys, this has been Forest Talks, a new series I've tried out. Hopefully you liked it.